Good evening, and welcome to our channel. Tonight we're diving deep into the heart of global power plays, from the Panama Canal to the battlefields of Sudan, and from the halls of power in Moscow to the tense standoffs in the Middle East. We'll examine the forces shaping our world, the conflicts that threaten to divide us, and the stories of resilience that remind us of our shared humanity. Stay tuned as we bring you the latest international news updates from around the globe. We'll unpack the complexities of these events, analyze their potential impact, and provide you with the context you need to understand our rapidly changing world. From economic rivalries to political standoffs, from natural disasters to technological advancements, we'll navigate the major stories of the day with clarity and depth. In a move that has sent ripples through the global trade landscape, a consortium of U.S. investors, spearheaded by financial giant BlackRock, has acquired a sprawling network of ports previously under the control of Hong Kong-based CK Hutchison Holdings. This multi-billion-dollar deal, valued at a staggering $22.8 billion, is not just about business. It's a strategic chess move with profound geopolitical implications. At the heart of this acquisition lie key berths at both the Atlantic and Pacific entrances of the Panama Canal, a critical artery for global commerce. This strategic positioning gives the U.S. a stronger foothold in a region where China has been steadily expanding its influence through infrastructure investments and trade deals. For years, China has been aggressively pursuing its Belt and Road Initiative, a massive infrastructure project aimed at connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. This initiative has seen China pouring billions of dollars into developing ports, railways, and other infrastructure projects around the world, including in Latin America. The U.S. acquisition of these Panama Canal ports can be seen as a direct counter to China's growing influence. It signals a renewed focus by the United States on securing its economic and strategic interests in a region that has become a key battleground in the global competition between the two superpowers. This move also underscores the growing rivalry between the U.S. and China, a rivalry that is playing out not just on the economic front, but also in the realms of technology, diplomacy, and military power. The battle for control of global trade routes and infrastructure is just one facet of this multifaceted competition. The acquisition of these ports is likely to have far-reaching consequences, impacting global shipping routes, trade flows, and the balance of power in the region. It remains to be seen how China will respond to this bold move by the United States, but one thing is certain: the geopolitical chessboard has been shaken and the stakes have just been raised. The coming months and years will be crucial in determining how this latest development will reshape the global trade landscape and the balance of power in this strategically vital region. Turning now to Africa, where a legal battle of international significance is unfolding. Sudan has taken the unprecedented step of filing a case at the United Nations highest court, the International Court of Justice, against the United Arab Emirates. The accusations are grave. Sudan alleges that the UAE has violated the Genocide Convention through its support of the Rapid Support Forces, a powerful paramilitary group accused of widespread atrocities. The heart of Sudan's case rests on its claims that the UAE has provided substantial financial and military aid to the RSF, which has been engaged in a brutal conflict with the Sudanese armed forces. This conflict has plunged Sudan into chaos, resulting in countless civilian deaths, mass displacement, and a humanitarian crisis of catastrophic proportions. Sudan argues that the UAE's support for the RSF has fueled the conflict, enabling the paramilitary group to carry out its campaign of violence with impunity. The Sudanese government contends that the UAE's actions amount to complicity in the RSF's alleged crimes, including war crimes, crimes against humanity, and acts of genocide. The UAE, however, vehemently denies these allegations, dismissing them as baseless and politically motivated. The Emirati government maintains that its involvement in Sudan has been limited to humanitarian aid and diplomatic efforts aimed at ending the conflict. This legal battle at the ICJ represents a significant development in international law. It is rare for a state to accuse another of violating the Genocide Convention, a treaty that carries immense moral weight and legal consequences. The outcome of this case could have far-reaching implications, potentially setting a precedent for holding states accountable for their support of armed groups accused of genocide. It also shines a spotlight on the complex web of international actors and interests involved in the Sudanese conflict. The world will be watching closely as this legal drama unfolds, hoping for justice for the victims of the conflict and a resolution to the crisis that has gripped Sudan. Tensions in the Middle East remain dangerously high as Hamas, the Palestinian militant group that controls the Gaza Strip, has rejected a U.S. ultimatum demanding the release of Israeli hostages. This refusal throws a wrench into diplomatic efforts to secure a lasting truce and raises fears of a further escalation in violence. The hostage crisis began with Hamas's surprise attack on Israel, which included the capture of numerous Israeli civilians. The U.S., a staunch ally of Israel, has been engaged in intensive diplomatic efforts to secure the release of the hostages, viewing it as a top priority. President Donald Trump issued a direct ultimatum to Hamas, demanding the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. The U.S. warned of severe consequences if Hamas failed to comply. However, Hamas has stood firm, rejecting the ultimatum and outlining its own conditions for the hostages' release. Hamas insists that it will only free the hostages in exchange for a lasting truce that addresses its core demands. These demands include an end to the Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip, the release of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails, and international recognition of Hamas as a legitimate political entity. The U.S. has confirmed that it has been in direct talks with Hamas, a significant development given that the U.S. officially designates Hamas as a terrorist organization. However, despite these talks, the two sides remain far apart on key issues. Adding another layer of complexity to the situation is France's support for an Arab plan to rebuild Gaza. This plan, however, explicitly excludes Hamas from any role in the reconstruction process, further deepening the political divisions. The hostage crisis has become a major flashpoint in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, threatening to unravel fragile diplomatic efforts and ignite a wider conflagration. The international community is watching anxiously, urging all sides to exercise restraint and seek a peaceful resolution. The lives of the hostages hang in the balance, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Chapter 4. Russia's AI ambitions hit a roadblock, lagging behind in the global tech race. In the realm of artificial intelligence, a different kind of power struggle is unfolding. Despite Russian President Vladimir Putin's bold pronouncements about Russia becoming a global leader in AI, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Russia's leading AI model, GigaChat Max, is significantly trailing behind its US and Chinese counterparts, raising questions about Russia's ability to compete in this critical field. Putin has repeatedly emphasized the importance of AI, calling it a key driver of future economic and military power. He has set ambitious goals for Russia to become a global leader in AI research and development, investing heavily in state-sponsored programs and initiatives. However, despite these efforts, Russia faces significant hurdles in its quest for AI dominance. One major obstacle is the relatively small size and limited growth of Russia's private sector technology industry. Unlike in the US and China, where tech giants like Google, Microsoft, Baidu, and Tencent are driving AI innovation, Russia lacks a comparable ecosystem of private sector companies. Another factor hindering Russia's AI progress is the impact of Western sanctions imposed in response to Russia's actions in Ukraine. These sanctions have restricted Russia's access to critical technologies, including advanced semiconductors and computing hardware, which are essential for developing cutting-edge AI systems. Furthermore, Russia is grappling with a brain drain problem, as talented scientists and engineers, particularly in the field of AI, are leaving the country in search of better opportunities and a more favorable research environment. This exodus of talent is depriving Russia of the very minds it needs to compete in the global AI race. The shortcomings of GigaChat Max, Russia's flagship AI model, highlight these challenges. GigaChat Max has struggled to match the performance of its US and Chinese counterparts in key areas such as natural language processing, image recognition, and machine learning. While Russia possesses considerable scientific and technical talent, its ability to translate that potential into AI leadership is being hampered by structural economic issues, sanctions, and a brain drain. Chapter 5. North Korea's abrupt U-turn, closing doors, after briefly opening to the West. In a move that has surprised many observers, North Korea has abruptly closed its borders to Western tourists, just weeks after experimenting with a capitalist city designed to attract international visitors. This sudden policy reversal has left many wondering about the reasons behind it and what it means for the future of tourism and engagement with the reclusive nation. North Korea, known for its isolationist policies and tightly controlled society, had taken the unusual step of opening up the city of Rason to Western tourists. Rason, designated as a special economic zone, was envisioned as a showcase for North Korea's economic potential and a testing ground for limited capitalist reforms. The opening of Rason was seen by some as a sign that North Korea might be willing to cautiously engage with the outside world and explore new avenues for economic development. Western tour operators reported a surge in interest, with travelers eager to catch a glimpse inside one of the world's most secretive states. However, the experiment was short-lived. North Korean authorities, without providing a clear explanation, abruptly reversed course and closed the border to Western tourists. This sudden U-turn has left many scratching their heads, trying to decipher the motivations behind it. Some analysts speculate that the decision to close Rason might be linked to concerns within the North Korean leadership about the potential for outside influence. The influx of Western tourists even to a tightly controlled zone like Rason could have been seen as a threat to the regime's grip on information and ideology. Others believe that the closure might be related to internal political dynamics within North Korea. It's possible that there are factions within the ruling elite who are opposed to opening up the country, even in a limited way. The abrupt closure of Rason underscores the unpredictable nature of North Korea's policies and the challenges of engaging with the reclusive regime. It remains to be seen whether this is a temporary setback or a sign of a broader shift back towards isolationism. Chapter 6. European Union flexes its muscles, boosting defense spending in a show of strength. Across the globe, in the heart of Europe, a different kind of power play is unfolding. European Union leaders, facing a more assertive Russia and uncertainty about the future of U.S. foreign policy, have agreed to a significant increase in defense spending. This move signals a growing recognition within the EU that it needs to bolster its own military capabilities to address a more volatile and dangerous world. The decision to boost defense spending comes at a time when the EU is facing a confluence of security challenges. Russia's annexation of Crimea and its ongoing military intervention in eastern Ukraine have rattled nerves in Europe, raising concerns about Russia's willingness to use military force to achieve its objectives. Adding to the unease is the unpredictable foreign policy of the United States under President Donald Trump. Trump has repeatedly questioned the value of NATO, the transatlantic military alliance that has been a cornerstone of European security for decades. He has also pressed European nations to increase their defense spending, suggesting that the US might scale back its military commitments to Europe. In light of these developments, European leaders have increasingly recognized the need for the EU to take greater responsibility for its own security. They argue that Europe can no longer rely solely on the US for its defense, and must develop its own capacity to deter aggression and defend its interests. The increase in defense spending is aimed at strengthening the EU's ability to respond to a range of threats, including conventional military aggression, hybrid warfare, terrorism, and cyber attacks. It will also enable the EU to play a more active role in international crises and contribute more effectively to NATO operations. This move towards greater European defense cooperation is not without its challenges. EU member states have often struggled to agree on a common defense policy, and there are concerns that increased defense spending could come at the expense of other priorities, such as social welfare programs. However, the sense of urgency created by Russia's actions and the uncertainty surrounding US foreign policy appear to have galvanized European leaders into action. The decision to boost defense spending marks a significant step towards a more assertive and self-reliant European Union. Chapter 7. Cyclone Alfred lashes, Australia, flooding fears as storm batters Queensland. Shifting our focus now to the forces of nature, where Tropical Cyclone Alfred is wreaking havoc in Australia. The storm has brought torrential rains, howling winds and dangerous surf to Queensland's coast, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Authorities are particularly concerned about the risk of widespread flooding as rivers and creeks swell to dangerous levels. Cyclone Alfred made landfall earlier today, bringing with it sustained winds of over 100 kilometers per hour and gusts exceeding 150 kilometers per hour. The storm's impact has been felt across a wide swath of Queensland's coastline, with reports of downed trees, power outages, and damage to buildings. The heart of Brisbane, Queensland's capital, has been transformed into a ghost town as residents heeded warnings to stay indoors and brace for the storm's fury. Streets normally bustling with activity are deserted, with only emergency vehicles braving the treacherous conditions. The Gold Coast, a popular tourist destination known for its beaches and theme parks, has also been battered by the cyclone. Power outages have been reported across the region, and authorities have closed beaches and urged residents to stay away from the coastline. The most pressing concern now is the risk of flooding. The heavy rains brought by Cyclone Alfred have caused rivers and creeks to swell rapidly, prompting authorities to issue flood warnings for numerous areas. Emergency services are on high alert, prepared to evacuate residents if necessary. In low-lying areas, residents are sandbagging their homes and businesses in a desperate attempt to hold back the rising waters. Evacuation centers have been set up to provide shelter for those forced to flee their homes. As Cyclone Alfred continues its destructive path, authorities are urging residents to stay informed, follow official warnings, and take all necessary precautions to stay safe. The coming hours will be critical as the full extent of the storm's impact becomes clear. Chapter 8. Athena probe touches down. Daring moon landing marks new chapter in space exploration. And finally tonight we turn our attention to the heavens, where history has been made with the successful landing of the Athena spacecraft near the moon's south pole. This daring mission, years in the making, marks a major milestone in space exploration and opens up exciting new possibilities for scientific discovery. The Athena probe, a marvel of engineering and ingenuity, touched down on the lunar surface after a tense descent that had flight controllers on the edge of their seats. The landing, which took place approximately 100 miles from the moon's south pole, was greeted with cheers and applause at mission control. The south polar region of the moon is of particular interest to scientists because it is believed to contain vast reserves of water ice hidden in permanently shadowed craters. This water ice, if accessible, could be a game-changer for future lunar exploration, potentially providing a vital resource for drinking water, oxygen production, and even rocket fuel. The Athena spacecraft is equipped with a suite of scientific instruments designed to study the moon's composition, map its surface in unprecedented detail, and search for signs of water ice. The data collected by Athena will help scientists to better understand the moon's formation, evolution, and potential for supporting human life. The successful landing of Athena is a testament to the ingenuity, skill, and determination of the engineers, scientists, and technicians who made this mission possible. It is a moment of triumph for international collaboration in space exploration, with contributions from multiple countries. Flight controllers are now working to establish contact with the Athena probe and confirm its status following the landing. Once communication is established, the spacecraft will begin its mission of scientific exploration, beaming back data that will reshape our understanding of the moon. The landing of Athena marks the beginning of a new chapter in lunar exploration, one that holds immense promise for scientific discovery and the future of human presence beyond Earth. Outro: stay informed, stay safe, your guide to a complex world. That's all for today's international news updates. We've journeyed across the globe, from the strategic waterways of Panama to the conflict-ridden streets of Sudan, from the cutting edge of technology to the depths of space. We've witnessed the forces shaping our world, the challenges we face, and the triumphs of human ingenuity. Stay informed and stay safe. The world is a complex and ever-changing place, but by staying engaged, by seeking out diverse perspectives, and by demanding accountability from those in power, we can navigate these turbulent waters together. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with more in-depth coverage of the news that matters, bringing you the stories that connect us all.